Welcome to our August 18th Zoom Satsang. The first topic is the publisher's desk, an alternative to happiness. Subtitle: A simple practice which internalizes consciousness, allows us to find life's deeper joys and be content in all circumstances. Short story. This publisher's desk is based on a lack of understanding of the traditional Hindu view of happiness, that it resides within us in our soul nature. This conclusion is based upon a number of conversations with Hindu families. If asked, is your life focused on pursuing happiness? Many people will readily say yes, if asked. And if asked again, have you found and been able to sustain that happiness? The same people would likely confess that they have not. Hinduism directly addresses the fleeting nature of happiness. And that's our first question to you. What does Hinduism say about the fleeting nature of happiness? Gurudeva stated, "True happiness and freedom cannot be found in the world. For earthly joy is inextricably bound to sorrow, and worldly freedom to bondage." The Mundaka Upanishad presents this truth in a story. Two birds, united always and known by the same name, closely cling to the same tree. One of them eats the tree's sweet fruit, while the other looks on without eating. Explanation: the bird enjoying the fruit represents the Jivatma, the embodied soul, and the bird simply witnessing represents Paramatma, the transcendent self. The story continues. While enjoying the fruit, the first bird moans, bewildered by his limitations. But when he beholds the other, the glorious Lord, worshipped by all, he becomes freed from sorrow. In these verses, the Vedas indicate a way to overcome the cycle of joy and sorrow, happiness and sadness that we experience when living in our outer, instinctive, intellectual consciousness. It is overcome by becoming aware of our innate divinity and abiding in spiritual consciousness. Paramaguru Yogaswami describes this in one of his Nachintanai songs. Joy and sorrow, both are Maya. The Atman, never from love divided, is the very form of knowledge. Therefore these two will not touch you. Can a mirage wash away the earth? At the gracious holy feet of the true all-knowing Guru, to the limit of your power, let your heart grow soft and melt. Let's imagine that we can step inside ourselves, deep into our spiritual nature. Let's imagine further that this journey consists of 4 steps. After taking those 4 steps, we find ourselves immersed in endless inner space, pure awareness, and the transcendent source of that awareness. This is the realm of the deepest samadhis. 3 steps within takes us to the level of brilliant inner light and the possibility of visions of deities and rishis. 2 steps brings us to the level of divine love for all beings. And one step inward takes us to a consciousness that is content, creative, and intuitive. Initially, it could be frustrating to try to take 4, 3, or even 2 steps within, as we are not yet able to move to those rarefied levels. A more practical approach is to master taking the first step within during our early morning sadhana time and strive to hold that creative consciousness throughout the day. The other steps are always there, awaiting our future mastery. Our analogy of 4 steps within relates directly to the chakras. These are the nerve plexuses or centers of force and consciousness located along the spine within our inner bodies. There are 7 primary chakras. The first 3 relate to the instinctive intellectual mind, which is being experienced by the fabled bird who is enjoying the tree's fruits. First chakra, located at the base of the spine, is the Muladhara, which governs memory. The second is the Swadhisthana, below the navel, governing the realm of reason. The third is the Manipura, solar plexus, the center of willpower. Without going within, it is natural to live our daily life in the confines of these first 3 chakras, rarely experiencing anything beyond them. The 4th chakra, anahata at the heart, center of direct cognition, is the realm we experience by taking the first step within. It is referred to in scriptures as the lotus of the heart. 5th chakra, Vishuddha at the throat, the center of divine love, is the realm experienced when we take the second step within. The 6th chakra, Ajna at the third eye, the center of divine sight, is experienced when we take 3 steps within. The 7th, Sarasvara, located at the crown of head, the center of illumination and godliness, is experienced when we take the 4th step within. Okay, the text on the slide is not correct. It's supposed to read, "What is it like to function in the anahata chakra?" Let's explore what we experience when we take the first step and function in the anahata chakra. Gurudeva described it as the realm of artists, inventors, creators of all kinds. He said, "Each time you design or create anything, you are bringing the beauty of the within through your nerve system into manifestation. It is a beautiful place to be, and you can be." So we're interrupting his statement to ask a question. Gurudeva is going to state how we can be in this chakra all the time. So that's the question to you before we look at his answer. How can we be in this chakra all the time? And you can be here all of the time by feeling the power in your spine. The minute you feel that radiant energy, you disconnect from instinctive intellectual consciousness and soar into inner consciousness. A few minutes of breath control will help you to feel the energy in the spine. One simple technique is, of course, to breathe in 9 counts, hold 1, breathe out 9 counts, and hold 1. After a few minutes of this basic pranayama, become aware of the spine and the spiritual energy within it. Visualize a clear tube in the center of your spine being filled with yellow light. Notice, yellow. Yellow light down from the top of your head. Then inwardly see this pure life force flowing through the spine and out into the nerve system. Having begun our day in a consciousness of contentment, creativity, and intuition, we soon encounter the many ways that security can be lost. How can we sustain the sublime state we achieve by taking one step within? So I'm asking a specific question here. What activities do we need to avoid to stay in that inner consciousness? The most basic requirement is following the yamas, Hinduism's ethical restraints. Adharmic actions such as lying and hurting others disturb the mind and emotions and draw us out into the swirl of external consciousness. Not letting disagreements turn into arguments is also crucial. Disagreements are natural, but they should be handled in an intelligent and harmonious way. We must always be willing to compromise to keep discussions from turning into conflicts. Domestic arguments are the most destabilizing. A major cause of such strife is the misguided view that the home is a natural place to let off steam, to vent frustrations that have built up through the day at work or school. For the sake of harmony, we must change that approach and instead consider the home a sanctuary for the entire family, never regarding it as a place where we can upset others with our emotions. Gurudeva insisted that the home should have an even higher standard of propriety than the office, the factory, or the corporate workplace. And that's a question to you. How can we avoid contention in the home? To avoid contention in the home, we can choose other ways to throw off stress. Walk through a park or along a beach, visit a yoga studio or workout facility, or stop to pray at a temple on the way home. Next idea. Every day we are assaulted by a barrage of advertisements, promising greater happiness if we acquire whatever they are promoting. This constant enticement presents a major challenge to sustaining a contented consciousness. Fancy new cars, faster computers, attractive clothes, all promise the ever-elusive state of mind called happiness. We can rise above this false allure by holding the perspective that we are content with what we have. If we acquire something more, it will not be because we think it will make us happier, but because it will benefit our family in a meaningful way. Gratitude is an important aspect of holding an inner consciousness. Key to nurturing gratitude is giving thanks for all the good things in our life. We are grateful for our family and friends, grateful for our job or school, grateful for the home we live in, grateful for the wisdom and practices of our religion. And another idea, the affirmation, I'm all right now, a metaphysical tool that Gurudeva gives us in merging with Shiva, is also helpful in sustaining an inner consciousness. It is a way to live in the eternity of the moment, where we feel perfect in the now, with no future to worry about and no past to regret. Gurudeva states, you can perform this excellent practice now and again throughout the day. Practice it by asking yourself, am I not all right now, right this instant? And answer, I'm all right now. Keep asking and answering until you feel positive, self-assured and centered in the anahata chakra. When we look at the world as providing our happiness, life is a constant series of emotional ups and downs. When we derive our contentment from within, life is joyous and we can share that joy with others. That's an important point. We're not trying to become a stoic here. Trying to be someone who finds joy on the inside and then shares it with family and friends. And second topic, continuing the series of 64 character qualities from a character building workbook. See where we are today. We're somewhere in the C's. Consistency is the 12th character quality. How would you define consistency? The workbook gives this definition. Consistency means maintaining one's level of performance. I develop it by completing all tasks to the best of my ability and never neglecting my spiritual practices. The opposite is erraticism. Gurudeva explained, basic principles for a good foundation in our lives can be established through consistency. The consistency in approach to what we are doing, a good habit pattern in living our life as we approached our inner life, the understanding of our inner life, the study of it, and the experience of it has to be on a day-to-day basis. And Gurudeva's famous quote here. It is only through consistency that you can avoid many of the boulders that lie in your way on the classical path to yoga. Practice the art of being constant and you will unfold your destiny. Discover what you were born to do and learn how to accomplish it in this life. And the famous statement is, consistency is the key to the conquest of karma. If you go to extremes or are sporadic in your sadhana, you can easily slide backwards. Reflection. Take a moment to identify a few ways in which you could improve in consistency. Third topic, Yoga Swami. And the first quote. One method is to stop all thoughts. Another method is to remain simply as a witness, allowing thoughts to come and go. As one becomes more and more mature in this sadhana, thoughts will begin to come from mounam. Be very attentive to those thoughts. Mounam is silence. What does that mean to you? One of the meanings is our intuition is always functioning. You just don't hear it as there is so much going on in your mind. I compare intuition to soft music playing in the background. As long as the foreground noise is present, we can't hear the music. However, it is still playing. A related quote, the inner voice will be heard from mounam. What does that mean to you? This is a related idea to the first quote. Starts with the idea of being in a state of mounam, whereas the other one started with the idea of having to quiet our thoughts. So this is saying, if you're in a state of mounam, mental silence, then you hear the inner voice. Oh, thank you very much. Om Namah Shivaya.